How do most street fights start? With a big looping rear hand, otherwise known as a haymaker. That's the street fighter's strongest punch. No doubt, that's go-to. It's literally in our DNA to drop bombs with that rear hand. When a street fighter punches, they typically throw their weight forward and try to hit a home run on your face. Hopefully, maybe, but a trained fighter punches differently. First of all, a trained fighter doesn't punch your face. A trained fighter punches through your face. They literally aim for the back of your head while they break your nose. A street fighter flails and smashes with their whole fist hoping for a home run. A trained fighter throws calculated counter punches and strikes with the top two knuckles of their fist, the index and middle finger knuckles. Pictured here, an experienced street fighter will likely lunge. Similar to a trained fighter when throwing a haymaker, they'll put as much body weight into the punch as they can. A trained fighter does that and more. Not only do they lunge forward, but they also punch from the ground up. Why punch from the ground up? The ancients talked about drawing your power from the earth. I told a boxing coach that once and he thought about it. Then he replied with, "That's some Yoda shit." And it definitely is. But it's also good physics. Punching from the ground up gives you leverage from the ground, which then allows you to punch with virtually every muscle in your body. The energy travels up through your feet, up to your leg, to your torso, out through your shoulder and arm, and onto your fist. The energy is then released through your top two knuckles onto the target. A trained fighter utilizes far more muscles in their punches than your typical street fighter. Factor in the momentum of the strike, which is mass multiplied by speed, velocity, and what you have is the science of a punch. And oh, let's not forget trunk rotation. It's one of Mike Tyson's favorite punches. The shovel hook. That twist is part of what separates the men from the boys. And believe me, everything I just mentioned makes a world of difference in your punching power. Add to that a few advanced concepts, and wow, I've seen guys that only weigh around 150 pounds hit a punching bag so hard that you can hear it across the street from the gym during rush hour traffic. Scary stuff. Now what's the number one thing I should know if I get in a street fight? Keep your hands up near your face, keep your eyes open, and try to aim your punches. You'd be amazed how many times I've seen people swinging wildly just hoping to score a knockout punch. But, in my opinion, there's no if I get in a street fight. People only get in bar fights if they want to. I have talked myself out of every single fight I didn't want to be in. And for every fight I've been in, there are probably 3 times where people decided they didn't want to fight and we went our separate ways without a punch. Here are the mistakes you need to avoid in street fights. 1. Not kicking. Your legs are infinitely more powerful than your hands. You won't be able to pull off Hollywood high kicks if you haven't trained. But almost anyone has the balance and coordination to roundhouse kick people in the thigh. One of the most effective things you can do. 2. Aiming punches at anything but the jaw and liver. Without wraps, your hands take more damage than anything else you hit. 3. Thinking blocking is a thing like in the movies. You can duck, weave, and eat punches with your guard, but flapping your arms around trying to push punches out of the way is worthless. 4. Not keeping your chin tucked. 5. Not grabbing something nearby. Goes back to how weak fists are. 6. Striking at and not through. 7. Bouncing or jumping around, not staying close to the ground. 8. Doing too much with too little energy left. Fights are tiring. Honestly, if neither of you have any idea what to do, it's best just to give ground, move around, and let them exhaust themselves. 9. Ragging out the fight longer than necessary. If you've knocked them down and you have the opportunity, run. This is a street fight, not some schoolyard skirmish where you can afford to drag out a fight to prove yourself. Seriously, leave your damn ego at home and run. Also, good luck claiming self-defense when you knocked him to the ground and then proceeded to kick the shit out of him when he was down on the ground and unable to attack you. 10. Expecting a knight in shining armor to come save you. Unless you know you have friends with you that will back you up, don't assume some random person will see this and come save you. It may happen, but it's far too little chance to rely on. If you're in a situation where you can't run away, in no condition to throw attacks, and therefore, waiting for someone to save you, being honest, you messed up a long time ago. 11. Not controlling that adrenaline. You will be 3 times stronger, yes, but that also means you're more predictable and imprecise, meaning you're probably going to end up randomly swinging and eating punches, meaning all that increased strength will go to waste. 12. Backing away from punches. It sounds like a good idea, but it is not. Backing away gives you momentum to fall over easily. You don't even need to be punched. A quick shove would be all it takes to put you at a serious disadvantage. 13. Taking the fight to the ground. Never good idea. even with ground grappling skills. It is just not a good thing to do. 14. Drop kicks. It's a game-ending move, but the odds are not in your favor. If you miss, then it's game over for you. If you hit, that will end the fight right there. Or will it? No, not always. If it doesn't impact as powerfully as you thought it would, then you're in for a whole new world of pain. Now, here are actually good tips and techniques you can use instead. 1. Grappling greater than striking. Striking is for pros. Grappling is for Joes. I'm sure striking martial arts are good at actually winning fights. But 90% of the time when somebody strikes me, I just want to stall until the police arrive. Or I want to stop somebody who's being aggressive on somebody else without getting either of us in trouble. The police might get involved when I strike. 2. When I did actually need to fight, my tactics were a combination of takedowns into chokes. I only really know a few actual chokes, but arm bars and heel hooks can actually injure the guy who's attacking you. With a choke, you can choke them and then GTFO without the person having any lasting damage. 3. If you plan to grapple, takedowns are the most important consideration. Once you get to the ground, getting mount is trivial, and you can choke them. But getting the fight to the ground is non-trivial against people who are wild and swinging. If I were in charge of a self-defense BJJ gym, it would be 40% stand-up, 40% guard, 20% other. It's really important to be able to get that takedown since people swing wildly and you can get knocked down. 4. Head movement and a solid cover. Being able to tell when someone's getting ready to throw a cheeky haymaker or headbutt and knocking them the fuck out first. Punches, including body shots, which none ever expects. Knees. That's about it. It's also very useful to be able to deal with someone grabbing you or trying to trip you. Essentially, BJJ is training for a situation you want to avoid in a real fight but admittedly might be forced into. I would be very, very wary of intentionally taking someone to the ground, as everyone, even someone with zero training, will instinctively grab your clothes and take you down with them. 5. Low kicks. Kicks to the knees or shins are usually a good idea. No one ever actually is prepared for low kicks, and most people have no footwork to speak of. Therefore, low kicks are a weakness for them. 6. Running while the enemy is down. Make sure you are not followed or hide somewhere. In fact, there are many situations where you can run before a fight even starts. 7. Taking friends. If you will travel through a dangerous part of town, having friends increases your odds of survival. Believe it or not, quantity beats quality in a fight. One boxing champion is no match for 3 or 4 untrained fools on the street. 8. Step into punches. Sounds stupid, right? It is not, actually. If you step into a punch before the enemy can outstretch their arm fully, you've cut off the punch early, before it can reach full power. 9. Learn how to stand up clinch properly. Learn how to hit someone while clinching their head or neck. It will help you to not bring fights to the ground, and most people don't know how to attack while in a clinch or how to break out of a really good one. I think that trained fighters have a skewed perception of how real fights happen. This probably has something to do with the rehearsal aspect of martial arts training. I took judo until I was 14, which means nothing, I understand, but I remember how much faster and more chaotic my first real fight was, compared to the judo matches I participated in when I was a kid. Even the competitive matches. My advice in a street fight would be to forget about training and to just rely on your instincts. As someone who has spent 5 years training in combat, you will have a huge edge over your opponent,